Morne built a career on a calm under pressure and metronomic boot. Over 18 years, he won 3 Super Rugby titles, top 14 title in France with Stade Francais, and ranked up 742 points with the Boks.
I think discipline overall is a big thing that rugby taught me. You put all the hard work in for moments like that. You must put yourself under pressure on the field for moments like that. The type of players we played with, Brian, the Buckies, the Victor, John de Villiers, Jacques Fourie, those guys, they was an amazing team. My motto was always first on the field and the last one to leave. That was the motto of most of our guys. You can't just stop. You can't just stop after you miss 5 kicks in a row. I won't leave the field if I'm not happy. Hard work always beats talent unless talent work. I actually wish for a last minute penalty to make that last kick.
Welcome to another episode of the Lessons from the Game podcast. We are joined today by one of rugby's greatest clutch performers, Morne Steyn. From nailing a 53-meter penalty to clinch the 2009 British and Irish Lions series to scoring all 31 points against the All Blacks in Durban, Morne built a career on a calm under pressure and metronomic boot. Over 18 years, he won 3 Super Rugby titles with the Bulls, top 14 title in France with Stade Francais, and ranked up 742 points with the Boks. Recently retired from international rugby, he's now sharing his wisdom as a kicking consultant, running a wealth management company and championing his MS10 Foundation. In this conversation, we explore his journey from Craddock to the world stage, revisit those iconic moments, and find out what keeps him motivated off the field. Morne, how's it going?
What a great intro, my friend. What a great intro. Great start.
Yes, man. I think that intro is giving you way too much credit, man. Way too much credit. Right, we can't live you up too much. Morne, it's great to see you, and thanks for taking the time in your busy schedule to join us. Really looking forward to this. Ben, brother, how are you doing?
Yeah, good, G. Thanks. Yeah, likewise. Looking forward to it.
All right. Morne, seeing you just... it feels like there's something missing, we don't have our Monopoly cards, we don't have a lunch planned or anything like that, or a bit of a bribe, but listen, yeah, it's great to see you. But Morne, before I go off here on a tangent, we always start off our show with this same question. What is the one lesson from the game that you have learned that you can share with the young rugby players out there and aspiring coaches?
Yeah, I think being a rugby player teach you a lot of rugby and life itself. I think discipline overall is a big thing that rugby taught me over the years. When you're in meetings and you're 5 minutes late, it's a penalty or fine or something. So it taught me a lot of great discipline, and I can definitely see the difference between me and a guy who haven't been in a team environment. You can definitely see the difference. For me, just the discipline part of it, and just the amount of friends I made. I still speak to one of my big friends, G-Man.
Oh, fully, man. I miss our Bryce there in Paris. It was we had some great times, great memories. But let's say on a serious note, Morne, I heard rumors that apparently, SA Rugby has reached out to you, and they've got this project in place that potentially you might be frozen, so that you can eventually wake up in 2033 and still be in good physical shape to come up in the second half and kick over once again the winning penalty to win the British and Irish Lions. Could you comment on that? Is there anything in the pipeline?
Luckily, I don't need a lot. Just about 15-20 minutes. That's enough for me in the whole series. So yeah, it will be fine if they can keep me in good shape up to then.
Oh, Morne, let's go back to that. 2009. I remember I was in the stands, and I remember myself and Wynand, we were cheering when you went on, and we were like so happy that was your debut. Take us back to that moment. What was going through your mind when you went onto the field, if you can still remember that far?
Yeah, I think it was one of the big moments in my rugby career and my Springbok career. It was my second test. I started the one in Durban. I also got a 15-20 minutes. And I think the big thing for me is I replaced my big friend, Ruan Pinar, at that stage. So it was a big thing. We grew up since 4 years old. We played together, primary school, Craven Week High School, we played together. So it was a great thing for me to replace him at that stage. yeah, I had the opportunity about 25 minutes into the game, or to left, and yeah, everything, went like a dream. You sit on the bench and you just wait for that moment to go on, and then to get the winning kick, make it so much more special. So for me, it's, everyone asks me if I hear the Lions, all the Lions supporters, and I always say if you don't hear them, because the whole South Pavilion of the East Pavilion was full of just red people. So it was a crazy environment, and me just kept my focus, wait for that last kick. And for me as a kicker, you put all the hard work in for moments like that. I always tell the guys, you must put yourself under pressure on the field for moments like that. And luckily, I'm quite a calm guy, so I wasn't too much stressed up. I was more looking forward to the kick, and that's what made it so special. In the last minute, to win the kick for us, and win the series, and had a great party afterwards.
We definitely had a great party afterwards.
Today's Lessons from the Game episode was possible thanks to the support of Harris Begley Financial Planning, headed up by former Blackheath player Matt Begley. They are the experts to speak to for tailored advice on investments, mortgages, insurance, and pensions, helping you plan for a future of financial security. So when you think money, think Harris Begley, and head to www.harrisbegley.co.uk. Approver Quilter Financial Services Limited and Quilter Mortgage Planning Limited, March 2025.
And Morne, then fast forward 12 years later. How did it feel getting getting that call up for that game? Did anything go through your mind saying, you know what, this is going to happen again? Did you tell the coach, just put me on the last 20 minutes, I'll do my thing? If you can take us back to that period, I think it was in 2021, obviously different back then.
Yeah, that's actually a funny thing, because I played my last test 2016 against New Zealand in Durban, and I thought that was it, and I just enjoy my final years in Stade Francais, and then I came back, had the opportunity to come back to the Bulls and play my last 3-4 years here, and then I got the call up to join the squad for the Lions again, and the first 2 games I didn't make the squad. It was in the 23, and then the funny thing happened on the Monday or the Tuesday. I wasn't in the team, and then I think someone got injured. One of the flankers got injured, and it replaced me, and they brought me into the team. So actually by Wednesday, I think I got the call up into the squad, into the 23. And then, I remember me and Eben sit at the breakfast table in the morning, and he told me, imagine it plays out the same as 2009. And then it actually happened exactly the same, and I got onto the field with, again, just 20 minutes left. My first kick, the one kick, was on the right-hand side, same as 2009 when Fourie scored that try. And then the last one was again in front of the poles, just a little bit closer for the old legs. They brought me a little bit closer, and then everything played exactly the same. There was the difference. There was just a minute left, so we first have to get the kick off, slow the ball down, and kick it out. So, but it was exactly the same as 2009. It was actually like a fairy tale.
Great, and the party afterwards, similar?
Same as the other one. Top.
When you reflect back, is it hard to pick out some of the highlights? Like, is that one of the highlights, or is it just all blurred and there's so many highlights?
Yeah, I think we had some great times, great highlights, and great games with especially at my era from 2009, I'd say, to 2015-16. I think we had an amazing team. We won the Lions in the 2009. We won the Lions. We won the Tri Nations, and I think we lost against bloody Scotland in the last game to win the Grand Slam as well. So that would have been a great year for us. But I think over those years, I would say that 5-6 years, just the type of players we played with. Gerto will also tell you, the Brian, the Buckies, the Victor, John de Villiers, Jacques Fourie, those guys. They was an amazing team. So for me, playing with them make it so much easy. And with half of that team, I played at the Bulls as well. So made my life so easy. But if you look over the years, I think there was a lot of highlights. One of my highlights was the game against New Zealand in Durban when I scored all 31 points. That was a special one. I scored my first try as well, and I think that was also 2009. But there's a lot of highlights. But for me, just every game you go onto the field for playing for South Africa is already a highlight in my career.
It's incredible. I mean, it's hard for me to look at you wearing the Lions shirt and think like, G must be getting PTSD. Do you know what I mean?
As long as it's not the Stormers, I'm happy with it. That's okay. The Lions is fine as long as it's not the Stormers.
Like,
We keep it aside.
Yeah, but you know, it'd be great to talk about, you know, hearing your. I figured that time together as the Bulls family that G has spoken to me about so many times. It's special when you win with people you're close with and you're spending every day with, isn't it? And you guys had an amazing passage of time there. Talk to us about that.
Yeah, I think that was a special group of players. I think when I started in 2003 with the Bulls as a junior, and I would say up to 2010, I think the type of players, the family, the bond, you know, you will die for the guy next to you. I think that was the whole recipe of our success. I think the type of family the women always, or the wives always, you know, we come back from a 4-week tour, and in the first weekend we want to braai again. We want to braai with all the guys again, all the players. And I think you just went on 2 or 4 weeks with each other, and now you want to braai again. The first weekend you get the opportunity. But I think that was just the type of family and the friends. We, you know, everyone in that team. Go to also tell you, we still have a old Bulls group as well, and we still talk about great moments. We organize braais. We stay in touch with each other, and I think that was how can I say, the big thing of our success.
You know, Morne, yeah, we've spoken to Victor as well. We've had him on the pod, and you know, he gave his insights, and we've all experienced that period differently. You know, I think what we experienced as Bulls players was massive. You know, even today, you know, I still think about, especially those tours we had, Lone Star, the Ribs, you know, I'll never forget the Bundaberg. And I still remember discovering pods for the first time in Australia, and I picked up 7 kgs because they're having a packet of pods every night. And I used to hate it. Yourself and Brian, you guys ate what you want. You still look the same. But what do you think was the reason that we achieved such great success? And what we achieved was significant, because I think if you look back at it, the generations after, to follow up what we did, that's almost impossible, because we just had such a unique group of players. But how did you experience that time? And why would you say we were successful in winning the 2007 Super Rugby and then going back to back in 2009, 2010 and winning a Currie Cup?
Yeah, I think for me, being with a lot of teams now, I've been with Stade Francais, I've been at the Lions now, and I came back to the Bulls as well. But I think the work we put in at that stage, the sessions we had with Heineke and Basil at that stage was just on another level. If I look at the guys doing fitness now before the session, that was like a normal week for us. That was during our games, we had trainings like this. So they will never finish one of those sessions we did with Heineke and Basil. So I think the hard work we put in, and then again, the family I spoke about. You know, we know if we come back from a 4 week holiday, you know, Goethe is 10, 20 k's over his weight. So he'll be just running around the field, doing fitness, be on a bike, won't do skills or anything with us. He must just lose weight. But that was just the extra hard work. And me as a kicker as well, I think the amount of work we put in, my motto was always first on the field and the last one to leave. And I think that was the motto of most of our guys. If you look after a session, they will do lineouts, they will do scrums, they will do kickoffs. I will kick off for the locks. They will put in the extra work. And I don't see it these days with the younger guys. They don't put in the extra work. They almost just do what they have to do. And I think that was the difference between us. And I coach with Jacques Fourie now as well, and Julian Relentless. And they speak about the way we trained. Jacques Fourie said the way we trained is because we won the Super Rugby 3 times. We won a couple of Currie Cups. That was just the amount of work we put in. And then, like I'll say it again, the family. We know you will die for the guy next to you. Doesn't matter what.
You know, Morne, with regards to that, from the outside, it was fascinating to see. You had all these amazing players who've gone on to have really successful careers, like you mentioned, Bucky's and Victor, and I was thinking of you and Fourie du Preez, like the combination you guys had. Did you just, was it also that you had world-class players, or were they not world-class players at the start, but you just played really well together and you bonded and you went through those hard sessions with Heineke and Basil, and then you all grew from there and it became player-led as well? What was that key to it?
Yeah, I think the other thing that, you know, Heineke had a great eye for talent. I can almost say talent, or like he went to fetch buckies in, I think, Brakpan or somewhere at the Falca. He played for the Falcons.
Yeah.
And he saw just the something in him. And Heineke just had the ability to get people and to change them into diamonds. You know, just the amount of pressure they put him under, the amount of work he put on of them. Like me, when I arrived at the Bulls in 2003, I wasn't a kicker. In my first 2 years, I didn't kick balls. I came from the freestyle. I was a running fly-off. And then Heineke told me if I want to play on a higher level, I must work on my kicking game. And that was just one of the things I can echo in my career. And that's when me and my skiing coach at that stage, Floxel, we put in the hard work, 2 hours in the field every day. And luckily that all paid off. But I think it all started with Heineke gave me the opportunity when I was still 18, 19 years old, play with the senior guys like at that stage, Anton Leonard, Sias Wagner, all those guys. And he just gave us opportunity, and just the amount of pressure he put you under in trainings. Goethe will also tell you the amount of pressure he put you under in training sessions. Like if you say we give 5 kickoffs to the forwards, if they don't kick 5 of them, we're going to do extra 10-minute fitness. They put 3 balls down for me and the kickers. If we don't slot all 3 of them, we're going to do extra 10-minute fitness. So that's all to prepare you for a game and in situations to a Lions kick or win the All Blacks or the Stormers or whatever. So I think he really put in hard work with the whole team at that stage.
Morne, I would like to ask you this question because obviously now I'm trying to level up as a coach and I'm starting to show interest in the backs. All right, before you guys didn't really play that massive role in our game plan at the Bulls, as long as you put it through the first half. Just joking. But Morne was always impressed when I remember from a previous podcast that I had ages ago. And by the way, still look exactly the same. So well done on that. And you mentioned to me something when I asked you, like, how many times a week do you train and how long would you train on your goal kicking? And I remember you said to me, I would only leave the field when I was happy with my kicking. If it was 30 minutes, an hour, 2 hours, whatever. And your work ethic, it showed. And we see today that there are a lot of kickers struggling, very inconsistent. If you think about it now, there's not really a lot of goal kickers out there. We can say, don't worry, he's got this. And we see the lack of inconsistency. So obviously, if you can maybe take us into the mindset of a kicker, what do you think, number one, was one of the reasons that you were such a successful goal kicker? And number two, what do you believe today players are doing wrong and why they're not that consistent when it comes to their goal kick? And we've seen with the Tri Nations as well, some of the players missing key opportunities, which should have been easy points. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think to answer that second question first, I think I'm working with a lot of younger guys now and youngsters now, and you can just see the work ethic is not the same. They just want to do what they have to do. Actually must ask them 2-3 times. Now I just made a group now this year coming in now for my kickers to give them a time. Listen, I'm kicking 10 to 11. We have a kicking session. Because if you wait till after session, they come with excuses. Now we had a hard session. My feet are sore. I'm a bit tired. I'll kick tomorrow. And then at our stages, Goethe will tell you every session we finish over if it was in season, pre-season, we finish over the fitness session for 10 minutes. The last 10 minutes we do a quick fitness session, and then afterwards I'll go kicking. So it's easy to make an excuse, but if you really have a goal for yourself, any pain or feet that's sore or anything is not going to keep you away from. And like Gerto said, even if you go out and you just kick 10 kicks or 20 kicks or just in half an hour, just to keep that pencil sharp, you don't have to be on the field for an hour, 2 hours every day. But like you said, if you're not happy after half an hour, you can't just stop. You can't just stop after you miss 5 kicks in a row. So for me, I was like you said, I won't leave the field if I'm not happy. And I used to finish off with I give myself the last 5 kicks. I must make 5 out of 5, and then I leave the field. So, like I said earlier as well, you must put yourself under pressure on the training field. Otherwise, when you get to a game and you get into a situation like that, it's gonna be like a new world for you. But if you're used to it and you're used to doing it at a training, like we had a thing while I was kicking. Say you have 5 cones, you must kick two kicks after each other before you can move to the next one. And if you miss at number 7, you start back at 1. So you must get that 20 kicks in a row after each other. So you can be on the field for an hour and you still struggle with that one kick. So you'll finish that whole circuit and then you'll be happy. But I don't see the same work ethic of the youngsters these days. I think that's the main problem.
You know, that's fascinating, Morne. Do you think, in your experience, is that what separates the very, very best, you know, from the people who don't make it? You know, can you say, when you see these kids now and they have that sort of mindset, do you think, oh, that person just hasn't got it? Or do you think that can be developed and they might develop it?
I think I can echo on that. I think I wasn't a great kicker. I would say at school I was a 60% goal kicker. So I arrived at the Bulls for my first 2 years. I didn't kick because I wasn't good enough. And now if you look at a guy like Morne, I think his record last year was 46% for a Springbok fly-off, kicking goal. So that, for me, if you're a fly-off, your primary job is to kick goal. If you're a hooker, your primary job is to throw into a line-out. So you can't have an excuse now, he's a good running fly-off, we look for someone else to kick, so give Faf a chance, then Cheslin a chance, and then, you know, so for me, you must set yourself a goal. You must be an 80% kicker if you want to play on a high level. So I think that's the thing. The guys, I think these days, like Gertrude said earlier as well, there's a lot of fly-offs. One game he kicks maybe 5 out of 5. Next one he kicks 1 out of 6. So their percentage is not 80%, but then they still play on a high level. So that's one thing for me that's actually irritating me, because at my stage when I played, you know, if you don't kick 80%, they just bring the next guy in. And a guy like Rowan, Butch James, Peter Grant, all those guys were 80% kickers. So yeah, I think for me, the guys don't work hard enough, and maybe they just get things too easy these days.
It's super interesting. You know, G and I often talk about resilience. We talk about that performance mindset, and strength and conditioning has been a big focus of the game for the last 25 years, and then analysis, and then defense, because rugby league coaches came in, and that. But what you're just describing there seems like it's a mindset thing. And yeah, I'd love to know what you think about that, and what you think the reason is behind that they aren't maybe putting in the work.
I don't know. I think for me as a kicker as well, if you look at Morne, take Morne as example. Morne was, say last year, he was a 75% kicker when he was with the Stormers. But then when you take that extra step going to the Springboks, a little bit more pressure, game is a little bit faster, you get a little bit more pressure on the kicker, then he went to a 45-50% kicker. So I think kicking is also a big mental game as well, because you stand there, 50,000 people, or they boo you or they cheer for you. It's a big noise. So it's a mental game as well. And like I said earlier as well, that starts on a training field as well. You can't just, and Gertrude know Frans Steyn. Frans Steyn is a different animal. He just went on the field, kick 5 kicks from 60 meters, don't warm up, nothing, just slot them from 60 meters, and then he's happy. And then come game day, you do the same. So Heineke Meyer always had a saying, you know, hard work always beats talent unless talent work. So sometimes you don't have the talent, but your hard work will bring you somewhere. And I think guys like Frans Steyn maybe just had the talent, but he, you know, didn't work that hard. I think he could have been a 90-100% kicker, but his work ethic wasn't the same. It was just a crazy guy who can kick a long ball and doesn't have any pressure, just kick the ball. So for me, I think it's a mental game as well, and that's where a lot of guys maybe struggle with that, especially when they go to play a higher level.
Morne, you touch base there. I think sometimes when pressure comes on, then players deal with it differently. And I totally agree with you. If you look at even at hookers, the amount of hookers, the lack of precision when it comes to the lineouts, that's unacceptable. And that's just the skill. You just got to repeat, do it over and over, which is very important. But what I'd like to know is that how did you manage that pressure? Because you always looked level-headed. And I still remember, I can't remember which game it was. Frans Ludeker was coach, and we used to have this team talks before the game.
When he chased us out.
You guys came in like making like a motorbike. He came into our meeting hour and a half before kick. He got chased out. But then after that, he just switched on. But on a serious note, what was your process? What allowed you to be calm in that moment? I know you mentioned like the training, the repetition, but when you're in that moment and everything is on the line, how did you deal with that pressure? What was your tool set or your toolbox, if you can put it that way, to manage it?
Yeah, for me, luckily I was quite an easy guy off the field, so I wasn't very stressed before a game, and I just enjoy nice music and chilled, and like G said, mostly make jokes before a game. Some guys don't maybe like it, but yeah, I was quite chilled. And for me, being on the field, you almost hope for a penalty, hope for a winning kick to come, and I was more looking forward to something like that than other guys. If you get a penalty for a winning kick, that guy will hide somewhere. But you won't find him because you don't want to kick. But for me, I still remember John Smith always say that 2009 kick, because at that stage Frans Steyn was our guy who always take the long kicks. And when we got that penalty, John was still looking around for Frans, and I was already, John, give me the ball, please. And I was standing next to him. And that's just that, yeah, you can call it confidence, but confidence, I know I did put in the hard work. I kick a lot of kicks on lofters at that spot. So I think it was more of a confidence thing. I was looking forward, and, a lot of guys, like I said, they climb into the shell, they hide, they don't want to get that final kick. They almost stress a bit more for if it comes. But for me, it was just, I actually wish for a last minute penalty to make that last kick.
So Morne, we speak a lot about Heineke, and we had Victor as well. He told a few stories of Heineke, and we know Heineke was a great storyteller. Is there some of the stories that he shared in our team talks that you could share with the audience, something that you still remember till today?
I think we always gave him shit about that one story about the dog running on water or something. I think he repeated that one like 10 times. Something about a dog running on water or something, and the one old lady who was looking for a trophy, or a kid got kidnapped or something by a bird or something, and put it up in the mountain. And then it all came out. If you want something as bad as that lady want a child back, you will get anything. And you always say the people took our Currie Cup or Super Rugby trophy and put it up there in the mountain. So you must be like that lady who will do anything to get a child back. So we must be the same for that trophy. So yeah, it's a lot of great stories. But the great thing for me, when he came to Stade Francais, he wanted to tell all those stories, but he had to repeat it in English, and then Peter de Villiers must translate it to French. So it wasn't the same at all. No one catch it. No one know what was going on, because it just wasn't the same as Heineke, do it in Afrikaans as he can.
Oh man. Fully, we've had so many great memories, and if you have to look out, and if you can maybe share with the audience, like from what we experienced at the Bulls, we had so many highlights, but what were one of your biggest highlights for yourself at the Bulls in our era?
Yeah, I think for me, I think winning the Super Rugby 2007 was a big one. It was the first one for South Africa, a South African team, and we nailed it there in the last minute. I still remember that I was coming on also again the last 20 minutes. I came on at center because Derek Hougaard was still at number 10. And I remember that when Frans Steyn missed that kick behind the post, the time was finished. I think it was like 1 minute. And I still remember Victor said behind the post, Frans going to miss this kick and we're going to win this game. And everyone just bought into the plan, went off. We've got a plan for the kickoff. We did exactly that. And we pulled that off in the last, I think it was 82 minutes. Brian scored that last try. So that was one of the special ones for us. But then again, in the 2009, 2010 Super Rugby, the 2009 one against the Chiefs, I think we beat them 61-17 or something. They actually scored the first try in the first 5 minutes. They scored the first try. And yeah, we just kept our cool. We beat them by a record margin. And in 2010, the big one at Orlando Stadium, I think that was one of the best games for me playing. Orlando Stadium, the Vuvuzelas after the 2010 World Cup soccer. So that was, I think that was one of my most special games, playing at Orlando Stadium against the Stormers. First one was against the Crusaders, the semi-final, but that final was just on a next level with the environment, the people for South Africa, the black and white mingled together. I think the vibe there was just amazing. So I think that was one of my best games playing for the Bulls.
And then you go from there and you go to Paris. How did that? What was the thought process around that, Morne? And yeah, when you got there, you must have thought, "What have I signed up?" Like, it must have been quite a bit of a shock to the system.
Yeah, I must say that was actually I never thought I was gonna play overseas, but then it was actually funny. In our 2012 end of the year tour, because I went there 2013, so my 2012 end of the year tour, we played in England. We actually beat England, and that morning, I think at 5 o'clock or something, I catch a flight with Damien de Solde, our agent. It was me and Gertrude's agent there. So I catch a flight to Paris. I meet him up there, and yeah, I went to Racing Metro and Stade Francais to watch the stadiums and the vibe and everything. And then I flew back and I got the team again on Heathrow Airport. So I went there quickly for the morning, went back, got them at the airport, and we fly back to South Africa. So there I actually, did it in a bit of a scaly way. No one knew about it. So yeah, I went there, and then I told my wife I had the opportunity. They sent me the contract, and then coming from a guy from Bloemfontein, struggle of English, and I must go to Paris, try and speak French. It took me 3-4 years to catch a bit of French, but yeah, I enjoyed every moment. I was there. At the end, I was 6 years in France, and yeah, I think it was a special time. Met a lot of great players as well. Play with a lot of Tongan guys, Fijian guys, Italy, New Zealand. You get all the cultures together there, and I think that was amazing time for me and my family. And I think any young player, if you get the opportunity to go a year or two overseas just to get the experience, was an amazing 6 years for me. So, and of course we go for the money as well. Your rand against euro. So yeah. They say we go for the experience, but it's for the money as well. So,
of course,
yeah, I had a great experience.
Still honest about that. But listen, Morne, I just want to say this: well done. Your English has improved massively. Coming from when Morne back in the day, you would say, "I speak English very deliciously good since I was twice, or since I are twice." So, and just on a funny note, we used to actually make up these sayings like we'd be in camp, and like in Afrikaans, you would say, "Ek gaan 'n draai loop," and then we would say, "I'm going to go walk a turn." We used to make up these things. People used to look at
direct translation.
Direct translation. And just a funny anecdote. I remember years ago, and I think it was Donnie Rousseau, and we were in Leicester, I think, and he was looking for the manager of the hotel. And obviously in Afrikaans, manager is bestuurder. Right, and then he in English he translated it directly, and he said to the lady, "Who is the driver of this hotel?" So obviously, if you're Afrikaans and South African, you will definitely understand that. But Morne, I just wanted to ask you this: what was the big culture shock in France? When you got there? Obviously, like me, you enjoyed the croissants, and for us, it was chocolatine. In Paris, it was pain au chocolat. All right, so that's that big debate as well. But what was the big culture shock for you?
Yeah, I think for me, firstly, the language was a big barrier. It was quite difficult in the beginning, especially if you go over with kids. My little one was 1.5 years old, so the language definitely was a bit of a barrier. But I think the whole, the French is different. They don't want to change. They don't want to change. They got their way how they do things. And me as a player, sometimes with the rugby, you don't always agree with the coaches and the way they do things. But you just say yes, and let's go, let's do it. And yeah, I think that was the big thing for me. They wasn't in a mood, or that they didn't like change. And I think that's what made it difficult when Heineke Meyer came over as well. He brought his whole South African squad, his whole coaching staff, defensive coach, Ricardo Loubser, the back coach, and the French slowly started working out. And that's just a sign of, they got their ways. You don't come there and change their stuff. He almost wanted to let them go for Afrikaans lesson because his English wasn't good enough. So he actually wanted them to speak Afrikaans. So for me, the big thing for the French, they don't want to change. And if you speak English, they don't want to help you a lot. Especially when you're in Paris, it's a lot of English. But I'd rather speak Afrikaans there, and then I see they will help me, especially in the beginning. But yeah, like I said, I had an amazing time there in Paris. Made a lot of friends, good friends. And yeah, I'm still in touch with a lot of them.
Morne, what advice would you give to a young player going over to play in France now?
I think just to embrace it, just embrace every moment. It's going to be difficult. Chris Smith, who's actually playing fly here for us now, he was in Oyana now for a year. He actually had a 2-year contract. And he came to me before and I said, man, always expect the worst. Expect the worst when you go there. It's going to be tough. Oyana is a shit place. It's cold. It's in the winter. It's a lot of snow. So it's not the best place to go. There wasn't a lot. I think there was only one South African player there at the club. So it wasn't the best place to go for him. But I just told him, embrace every moment. He's going over with his missus, so just enjoy time with her. And yeah, he didn't like it that much. But he said his first year, the language was a difficult thing. And that made it difficult. So he came back after 1 year. He didn't enjoy it that much. But yeah, like I said earlier, I think any young player must just go somewhere. If it's Japan, England, France, wherever you want to go, just go there, embrace the culture, get to make new friends, and just enjoy every moment.
Yeah, it's really insightful. Do you think it's harder for someone like a fly half going over or like to, you got to suddenly run the team and the language is a barrier and you're trying to liaise with the coaches and stuff like that?
Yeah, I think that's what Chris told me as well. That was the one difficult thing, was being a fly half, you're the link between the backs and the forwards. So you must actually run the whole system there. So I think for him he said that made it difficult. And for me as well, luckily I went over, and I think we were like 5 South Africans in the team. Gerard Mostert, Shaw, Gal Wagner, Willem Alberts came with me, Shaw McLeod. So every time we've been a couple of South Africans. So I think that made it a little bit easier. We had a lot of English guys as well. Sergio Parise was there, Hugh Pyle, guys from Australia. So I think if you go to a small team like a Brief or Toulouse, maybe where there's not a lot of people speak English, can make it difficult. And I think that was the problem for a guy like Chris. Go over as a fly off, you must get the language. You can't speak the language. There's not a lot of guys who can help you. So yeah, I think language definitely. If you know you're going over, say maybe in a 6 months time, make some effort, put some effort in to get the language before you go over. Even if it's just to greet the people or just to get the basics. For if you get there, you can maybe help yourself a little bit. That will also help. And if the French people see you did a lot of effort, you make some effort to speak the language, then they actually enjoy it.
Morne, recently I spoke to Damien as well, and he always tells the story of you. There was this stage, and you're talking about the mentality in France. You would obviously, back then, you would do all your kicking on another field, like away where people were seeing it. And for some reason, Ben, they thought he wasn't training his goal kicking, and they kept it at him. But I know, Morne, in the beginning, there was this tough period of adaptation for you. But then you switched things and you went on to win a Bouclier, a French championship. Can you tell me, how did you navigate that time and how did you overcome that mental obstacles? Were you just being Fourie? You were just being Morne Steyn? Or was there something specifically that you did to help you switch and adapt and take your performance to another level?
Yeah, I think in the beginning, firstly, the weather in France is not the same. The field you play on is not the same. So there had to be some changes I had to make. And yeah, I always like you said, I was training on my own, and yeah, I actually had the coach come to me and say, listen, you never train your kicks. What's going on? You don't like it here, or you don't want to play, whatever. But yeah, I luckily I started change the little things in my run up as a kicker and try some new stuff. And yeah, I went through a little bit of a dip in the beginning, but yeah, luckily I kept on working and everything came back to normal again. I get to speak the language a little bit, can help myself a little bit, and just to go out with the guys and make friends with them, and don't always be just with your South African guys and friends like in your comfort zone. You must get a little bit out of your comfort zone and go out with them and just enjoy time with them. So yeah, and I think the other thing in the beginning was my first 3 years I was still playing for the Springboks. So every time you had a camp off or off season in France, where you maybe go on a camp with the guys, we'll be in camp with the South African team. So I always miss that, and that's actually the fun part. G will also tell you now that that's always the fun part, going on a 2-week camp with the guys, building team character and learn to know each other a bit more. And I think in the beginning I missed all that camps when I was with the Springboks. So that made a big difference. My last 3 years I also went on camp, and you could just see the vibe in the team and the vibe towards me got a lot better.
Morne, that's brilliant. But I've got an important question, because obviously myself and Reino Gerbe, over the years, we've had some in-depth discussions. And, I've always had this impression, the fly-offs, when you look at the forwards, is like this handsome guy going to a club, and all you see, this guy's just my wingman. I'll let him put in all the work, let him buy all the drinks, and then I'll come in for the kill. So I would actually like to know, from a fly-off, what did you see on the field? Like, obviously, we, in a way, forwards, let's be a bit tunnel vision. We just want to kill, and we want to maul, and we want to scrum, and we want to kill guys. And Bucky's wants to smoke guys and pop Matt Stevens and all those type of things. But what really, and I mean this from a serious point of view, what did you see? Is it maybe like we see sometimes in these movies, you see the forwards, these are all the dummies, they're just serving a certain purpose in my game. But what did you actually see? How did you experience the game? You would see the forwards, but you scan, like, would you take information? Would there like this electric bulb just light up? It's like, oh, there's opportunity. What happened? How did you see the game, like, through your own eyes?
Yeah, I think my picture looked a bit different than yours. I think you guys more of a tunnel vision. You just see, what's in front of you, who you gonna kill, who you gonna tackle. But I think being the guy in charge, and the guy, like I said earlier, the link between the backs and forwards, and where you want to have the next phase, what's your next plan. And as a fly-off, and I try and teach the young guys as well. For me as a fly-off, I always wanted to be a phase or two ahead of the game. So if you play the four, you're going to play the forwards up here. Next one, you're going to play them here. Then you already start looking, where's the space going to open, especially for me, for a kicker. I always look first, where's the kicking opportunity, where's the space at the back. Because for me, going from a kicking situation or kicking position into a running position is much easier than when you're flat and now all of a sudden you want to kick. You must fall back, get yourself time. So I always tell the guys, always be ready for a kick, and if the kick's not on, you can go into a normal game plan, play the forwards or whatever. So for me, I always tell the guys, be a phase or two ahead of the game. And like I said, that picture for me, your basic stuff, you're going to play the forwards. After this, you're going to play the next forward outside. But in that moment, you're really looking, where's the next phase going to be? Where's the space going to open? That wing is going to go, so that space is going to open. And I think that's what made my picture just open up a little bit more.
Hey, Morne, you were talking about sort of the communication between the forwards and the backs and the difficulty in transitioning and adapting to France, I'd love to know, was it also, do you think, for you not playing with Fourie du Preez as well, adjusting to a different nine, someone, who understood each other, there's sort of almost like a telepathic communication between each other. Is that part of the adaptation as well? And then, what G was just talking about, that vision and knowing when you're going to take it flat and all these different things. What was that like for you in terms of adjusting and just that relationship?
Yeah, I think to get that bond between you and your nine. I think me and Fourie had a great bond because we played the Bulls together, we played the Springboks together, so we had a bond between us and we understand each other in the game. And yeah, Fourie's just on the next level. G will also tell you, he was just on the next level. He's seeing of the game. He will read a game, and if you're not ready, if you're not like that, the 10 is always behind the forwards. If I'm not there and Fourie want to pass to me, you're gonna shut me out after that breakdown or after that thing, and that's what actually kept me on my toes. So his understanding of the game and the way you look at a game was just so different compared to all the other nines. And like you said, now you get to France, you play with a scrum off there. You don't understand him. You don't understand all the things he's saying, and then he's just not on the same level as you played like a week or two before with the Springboks or Fourie. So that's also part of the adapting, and you must adapt as quick as possible. But I think for any 9 and 10, the quicker you guys understand each other and get to understand each other and work, even in training sessions, work together, do drills together on a kicking game, work together in training sessions as well. Then you get to the game, it makes it so much easier because you do it in training every day.
Yeah, sure. I wanted to ask you about drop goals, and do you feel it's not used enough nowadays?
Yeah, you don't see a lot of them. I think the flyer from Glasgow, someone slotted this weekend. Also in the last minute he slotted, but you don't see it a lot. And for me, and G will also tell you, if the forwards, if you're pumping, you go nowhere, and you get a fly to get the easy 3 points, jog back, get your kick off, get out of your half again. It's actually easy points to get, and I don't see it these days enough. I've been working this morning actually with the guys on drop goals, but you work and you don't see it in the game. I feel like they don't see the opportunities, they don't see the space anymore, especially in a kicking game as well. They don't see the space for the 50-22. They don't look up for stuff like that. They just want to maybe attack too much, but I don't know why they don't go for more drop goals, and if you miss it, you just get the ball back again. It's a 22 drop out again, you get the ball, you can attack again, play. If nothing on again, you can go for contestable, or you can go drop goal again. If you miss, you get the ball back again. But I think maybe because this morning I worked with the guy and he said like, no, I can't drop. That's why I don't want to drop. So I think they're so scared of go for the drop, they miss, and all the forwards are gonna say, what are you doing? What's going on? But like I said, if it's over, you're the hero. If you don't kick it over, now what are you doing? You keep the ball away. So I think it's an easy thing to do in a game to get easy 3 points.
Morne, I just you touched base there on something I think it's very important. I've coached the last 4 years as well in top 14, and we have identified the lack of ability to, like you just mentioned, anticipate the next two phases, identifying space. Sometimes like you see it, but players for some reason don't pick it up. And this really interests me from a coaching point of view, because maybe you can tell me a bit better. But why do you think players today, and especially players in that key pivotal position, is struggling to identify space? And actually it results in poor decision making. Sometimes a player is like he plans something beforehand, I'm going to do this, but then there's an option on wide, or vice versa. There's no options out wide and there's space at the back, but he doesn't see it. Why do you think players don't see it as much anymore?
Yeah, it's actually a touchy subject for me, because I actually had the conversation about a month ago with a lady here, or someone here at the thing as well. And I think what's playing a big role these days, and I can be wrong, is guys being too much on a cell phone and screen time. I think if you look at kids these days, they're like this every time. They just look here, they just look on the screen. And for me, I think that plays a big role in your vision. They don't have the same vision as we had when we were playing, because we had the normal BlackBerry. You can only play Snake. That's the only game you had. So I think being a little bit deeper, I think that's creeping into our lively lives these days. Because they're on screen the whole time. That's why they don't see the space anymore. Because like G said, they pre-call a thing, and even if it's not on, they still they still stay with that call. Like when we were playing, you had a scrum, and you will have 3 options in your head. or you're going to play Wynand on a switch. If it's not on, you're going to dummy him, you're going to cross kick to the wing. If not, that wing is going to close, you're going to go for the back space. So there's already 3 options in your head. Like these days, I think the guys, they get a call, they pre-call it, and they just stick with it.
Do you think that's coaching as well, Morne? Because people overcoached, coaches have got cleverer, there's more analysis. Like when you were playing, you started as a running fly half and then you learned the game. So if you're running and you're playing games, you're playing what you see the whole time. You're not playing structure or shape the whole time. And do you think that's influenced it as well though? Because people are so structured and then they're scared of going outside the structure and playing what they see?
Yeah, I think so. And I think these days, a lot of teams look at, say, South Africa. They're the number 1 team in the world now. They do this. Let's do the same. But you don't have the same players to do that same game plan. So you can't play a game plan where you're 12 putting it up and he's going to drop the ball, going to offload, because you don't have Sonny Bill in your team. But now the normal coach tell this 12, listen, do this, and you just leave it to your wing and outside. But they're going to tackle him back 5. You're going to tackle him back 5 meters. So you can't do it. So you must actually play more towards your strong points. If you have a big, strong center, you must put the ball up with him. And if you have fast wingers like we had Brian and Bannon, those guys, get the ball in their hands. If they're good in the air, you're going to go a lot more contestables because they're going to get the ball back. So, yeah, I think it can be coaching as well, but I think, like we said, the Lions as well, the players must also think on the field as well. They're on the field, the coaches are not on the field. So they in that situation. And I think sometimes they want to be spoon-fed the whole time. You must tell them what to do. They don't want to think out of the box. If you look at school level, they're scared to do other stuff because otherwise they're going to get dropped. So I think we as coaches, we don't give the guys enough freedom to do what they do. Like when they play at home or just in a park or just at school playing, they do things way different than when you're playing for the first team. They're so stressed up, so scared to make mistakes because you're going to get dropped. So I think we as coaches don't give the players enough freedom as well just to play to their abilities.
Morne, before we run out of time, I just wanted to just switch it up a little bit because there's so many topics. I can see Ben is making his notes. Ben GPT is working overload. And, Morne, you obviously went back to the Bulls. And I can imagine that was tough because myself and Reinuge wasn't there. That was tough for you, I can imagine. But, tell us a bit after rugby, what have you been up to? Obviously now today involved with the Lions, you're the kicking coach. But can you tell us a bit what happened after rugby? What did you do? Is there anything you got involved with? If you can maybe share a bit about your journey.
Yeah, I think the first thing coming back from France, I actually took a chance if there's opportunity at the Bulls, and everything worked out. Put the Iman at that stage said they would love to have me back. So I came back, signed another 2 or 3 year contract, and just enjoyed my rugby year. And then the whole plan was, after my 14 years playing at the Bulls, it's actually sad that I'm not there. And I think the whole Bull supporters and everyone think the same. But it was a bit of a mess up, I can say, because I actually was supposed to start that August. I finished in July, so I had to start that August at the Bulls. And then all of a sudden I hear they don't want me there anymore, and there's some guys who don't want me there. So, and as soon as I finished, Ivan van Rooyen and Okash gave me a call, and he said they are very interested in getting me at the Lions. And I told him, my first thing is starting at the Bulls, so I'm just waiting for them and see what's going to happen, but I'll get back to him. And then everything worked out there, and I immediately gave Cash a call, and I started as a kicking coach at the Lions. And up to today, I'm not one day disappointed in my decision. I'm enjoying every moment. The great coaching staff with Jacques Fourie, I played with him, Julian Redlinger, Ricardo Loopshin was my coach. Baron Pieter says here now, we're awesome coaching group here. The players we've got, there's a good vibe between the coaches and the players. So I'm enjoying every moment. Outside of rugby, the kids are keeping me busy, running around and driving around after their rugby and their cricket now. And my wife is just running like a mad thing behind the kids because I'm working. Maybe I'm on tour with the Lions and she's running around after them. So it's like I'm enjoying it. I was part of a solar company as well since 2013. So I kept myself busy, and I'm I started the MS10 clinics and stuff I'm doing at schools, and
Awesome.
love to give back to the kids. I love to working with the kids as well, because I think that's where the whole new generation is starting, and that's where everything must. And I don't think there's enough good coaching and specialized coaching at school levels, especially in South Africa. And I think that's actually where it's needed to be, because that's a new generation. So for me, wherever I get the opportunity to go to a school or university or wherever, just to give back a bit. Rugby gave so much to us as rugby players. So it's a great time to just give back and see what we can do and what difference we can make in their lives.
Morne, you opened up that can of worms, and I'm just going to put it out there. What do you think about this Bulls coaching staff? Myself and Gary Botha will be in charge of the forwards. Obviously, Matty will make sure the lineouts are set, and he'll have a more head coach role. Yourself and Fourie managing the backs. Who else would you bring them? Because I'm telling this, we can change. We can bring back everything that we experience if they make us the coaches of the Bulls. Who would you bring in?
And the vibe of the field will be amazing.
Unbelievable.
The police will be chasing you around the house again.
Hey, you can't say that. Because you need to be careful. My daughter's Googling me these days. Who would you bring in? Who else would you bring into our coaching staff, Morne?
It's a dangerous one if you look at all the guys who's still involved in rugby and trying to do stuff in rugby. I think there's a lot of guys, but I think, like you said, you and Gary will be enough for the forwards, and then Victor will there just to manage you two, and then me and Fourie will be the one in charge of the back, and I will just be hanging around and make it fun off the field as well. I'll be the Vanny Strydom as well.
Vanny Strydom. Listen here, Ben.
I remember Vanny.
I can't remember which.
Yeah.
I can't remember which game it was, but we lost overseas somewhere, and I think it was either 2007 or I can't remember. But it was actually when France was coach, and we had this long bus trip. I don't know if you remember, Morne, and everybody was sulking and done, and he stopped the bus. And he just said, enough is enough. And he just brought out the bottle of brandy, bottle of whiskey and rum. And he just said, you guys need to find each other again. And I still remember at some stage, fortunately, because the back of a bus, there was a vibe. And he said, guys, you got to choose. Are we going to watch the movie or you guys going to party? And we just shouted, put it off.
And the other one was in Wellington, where we were, Gertrude planned a whole big thing for the day off on a Sunday. And Vanny planned the whole thing, a team thing. We're going to a guy's farm, a rich guy on his farm, motorbikes and everything we got to do there. And Gertrude and Reinhard Gerber was so negative because they planned something else. So good. I think G bought, 60 beers on his way on the bus. And I think he finished 32 of them on our way there because they're so negative. So he was just, no, we must do this now. You don't want to do what I do. And then put it down. So I will never forget that one. And then when they got there, him and Pietri van den Berg and Reiner, they just sat in a jacuzzi in a swimming pool. Negative of everything, but I think that turned out to be one of the greatest days on tour.
It was an unbelievable day. It wasn't 32 beers there. You're over-exaggerating a bit.
Okay, it's 35.
But yeah, I'm heading over to bed because otherwise we're going to go here too much on memory.
No, it's awesome. It's good to hear. And I think it's really interesting, when we talk about all these different team things and performance things, I think sometimes people underestimate cohesion and mates and having that team spirit, and how important that is, even when you haven't got, when Victor came on and he spoke about just having a simple game plan and going back to basics and things like that. And he referenced Teineke, but he spoke about you guys being united, and it's good to hear,
I think that was the whole thing of that stage with our team. We had the motto: you play hard, you party hard, you train hard, but everything you do hard. So we on the field, training sessions, on the field playing, we do it very hard. But after the game, we put the rugby aside and we just enjoy it as friends and just enjoy each other's company as well. And I think that's so important. I think a lot of the guys, a lot of coaches just are rugby focused, and they forget to make it a great team and to make a difference in the players' lives as well. And I think that's what we as a team did very well.
Ben, just to give you something, like what Morne says, and a lot of people have asked me as well, like what made the Bulls different. And Morne just mentioned we were all genuine friends. We really, and that's the truth.
It's very rare.
We're always spending time for us. And like I remember we would come back from a away game, and then Mveni would organize us the castle truck and stuff, and we'll have some fun there. And then our wives pick us up. They're not happy because we're in the state. And then we said, oh, but we got to braai with the team again later the afternoon. But like, you guys just had a castle truck. What's going on? Why you guys always want to spend so much time? And even like when we won our trophies, when we won the championships, we didn't need to be in a fancy nightclub. But actually, the funny thing is the next day, we would always end up at Victor Matfield's house, the whole team. That always didn't finish off that well, his wife not being too happy. But I just want to say thank you to Victor's missus for accommodating us through all those years. And luckily, I didn't burn any furniture. But it was that even today, like with Morne, when I asked Morne to come on, he didn't hesitate, and we're always checking in, and Morne from time to time always check in with me, see how things are going. That's what we talk about, family. And I'm going to put it out there. Are players today really family and friends? When they move on, speaking about our WhatsApp groups, it's still going. Players is doing well, and like it's great to see himself and Morne and Ruan and Frans, all these guys are still involved in rugby. And when someone does well in our group, Ben, we're genuinely happy for them. It's not a case of jealousy. Why not me? Why is he getting that opportunity? We are super happy. And I think with the modern day game, we've kind of lost that, spending that quality time. But it comes down, I think, to something very simple, which Morne mentioned. The time players spend on their phones. That's the time we would have conversations and plan our after parties.
Playing cards.
Playing cards.
The other one about that, and I was going to say it earlier, I wanted to sort of, it's about tech, but not necessarily playing on your phones. It's the fact that, and it's a bit controversial, because sports science and strength and conditioning has gone like this. You get the head of performance or the S&C coach says, oh, time on feet is too much. And I think the players then think, oh, I've been on my feet too much. I've got to get off the field. And I was thinking, when you were talking about doing, oh, well, you need to do your primary job now, which is practice kicking. But you've been, and they've almost been programmed to go, no, but I'm going to get too tired. I've got to get off my feet. And it's almost like that also brings you together, those hard times and those dark times and those dark moments, those hard times when you're pushing through together. I don't know if they have as many of those together, because maybe I'm wrong, but it'd be interesting. What do you think, Morne?
Yeah, I think for me, the big thing that actually killed that part of the game is this new GPS systems. Because now the GPS system tell the guys that they've been too long on their feet, they already trained too much this week. Good to all know, we had a fitness session like up to the Tuesday. We'll finish our day off with a fitness session, we're playing the Saturday. So not coming there on a Monday, my body is sore, my GPS saying, oh, I'm tired, I must still rest another 12 hours or whatever. But now this whole GPS system is running the whole fitness and the whole everything. The guys just go look on the stats. No, this guy ran too much, this guy ran too much, and keep them out of training. Every Monday, Tuesday, we have guys sitting next to the field. Nothing wrong with them, but the GPS said they ran too much during the game. Yeah. Like in our days, you were tired, their bodies were sore, scrumming, everything. Monday, we finished over a fitness session. So I think that's also the big difference in recent games.
It's unquantifiable, isn't it? Sometimes you have the benefit of going through some really hard times together, and you can't necessarily quantify the benefit of that. But and on the flip side of that is the GPS guy telling you, the sports scientist telling you, oh no, everybody's tired, or they're going to be fatigued, or they're going to get an injury down the line or something. It's fascinating.
Yeah, because now you must go into a game. You go for 20, 25 phases. Now, all of a sudden, you're going in that red zone where you actually dead. But that's what actually keeps you fighting when you know on the training field, this guy was maybe lying on his back, throwing up or something, but he was pushing through it. Now you get to a game. Now it's easy to say, no, my GPS, I can't go further. I ran too much. But in those days, the guy was sitting there throwing up. Okay, come back into the session, do another set or whatever. And then when you get to a game and you get to phase number 25, this guy's still gonna have your back.
Morne, on a more serious note, just to finish off, it's very important. We all know that it's a dream for every single prop at the end of his career to at least put over a drop kick and to do a kicking transformation and do execute it with precision, seeing that we have such high standards. So what advice would you give to a prop so that he can actually improve his goal kicking? No, I'm joking. To the younger generation out there, no tips will help you. You're great at what you do, but I don't think you can help us. But for the younger generation, we spoke about the lack of consistency in terms of goal kicking, and without giving too much of your IP away, what you're doing at the Lions, what advice would you give to young goal kickers, where obviously attack is a big part of the game today, but for them to level up their goal kicking, you touch based on work ethic. But if there's maybe 3 points you can share with them that will help them.
I think work ethic is definitely one of the top things, and then you must enjoy what you do. For me, it was the best time for me going to the field, take my 20 or 30 balls, spend an hour on the field at Loftus on your own, do what you love, and then you can't see it as a job. Then if you do it because you love it, and it's gonna make you better, it's gonna help you in the games as well. So work ethic is definitely there. Do what you love, and then, like I said, during a game, prepare yourself. Like in training, focus on being a step or two ahead of the game. Know what's coming. Know what your plan after this 2 rucks or 3 rucks or whatever. Know what your plan. Be ahead of the game, and just look up and see what's space behind, because it doesn't help you play like the forwards. You must get a bigger picture.
Well, I've got a bit of vision now since I'm a coach. I can see everything.
Yeah.
Hey, Morne, unfortunately, we've run out of time, but it's been great to have you here. We just got sort of one last final question. I'd love to ask you, if you had your time again, what would you do differently, if anything?
No, I don't think I will do anything different. I think I enjoyed every moment on and off the field. Made a lot of good friends, and there's not really a thing I will do different. I think just on a more serious note, look after your body. I think I looked well after my body. I stretch a lot, and I think that's the most important thing. Look after your body, because if you want to play 15 to 20 years, your body must keep up. And normally, I think if you can go 10 years in rugby, it's already a big achievement. But for me, I look after my body. I stretch a lot. I did my work in gym, fitness when I had my off seasons. So I think that's the most important thing. Look after your body and just enjoy what you do.
Morne, just on a personal note, I just want to, obviously my career came up to an abrupt end at the age of 37, unlike yours where you were still walking on your hands in the gym, which was ridiculous. Still don't know how you did that. But no, honestly, on a serious note, obviously at the end of my career, I wanted to continue another year. Toulouse, that wasn't the case. And then I got that lifeline at Stade Francais. So, for yourself, Charles and Willem, you guys made it so memorable. And that was really a tough time for me, and also coming to a realization that this is the end. I knew it. I could feel it coming. And just getting that opportunity to end of my career and be surrounded with friends, and also say thanks to your wife as well for opening up your home for us to have a few braais, a few rosés, and buffalo wings, chicken wings. Remember that in duck fat? That was massive. Yeah. But yeah, just thanks for opening up your home and really making that last chapter of my career really enjoyable. I really appreciate that, and that really meant the world to me. But that once again showcased the human being that you are, and you still are today. And I'm just glad to see that you didn't get a big hit, so that's good. You're keeping that in check. But yeah, I just want to say thanks for joining us today, Morne. It was unbelievable. I felt we could have probably gone on for another hour, but that is lack of preparation from our side. I would have made sure that you at least have a brandy or two or rosé in your hand. Then we could have made sure that we all, have enough fluid to continue this discussion. But I think, Ben, I think that might be a good podcast to have, getting all the bulls. And maybe if you want, Morne, I might start a new hashtag string and say hashtag bring the bulls back, so bring back the
Sounds
former
good.
players and let them give us a go at coaching there at the bulls. All right. Thanks,
Yeah,
Morne.
no, thanks, guys. It
All
was
right.
awesome.
All right.
Thanks, Morne.
Thanks a lot, guys. Have a good time. Ciao, ciao.
Cheers, Ben. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, likewise, buddy.
All right.
Thanks, mate.